Today's episode is brought to you by chronic grief. I've had a lot of conversations, and I'm not going to share the ugly details, but I've had a lot of conversations in the past 2 weeks with people who are going through things. And I want to remind every single Syngap family that if you have a Syngapian, you are going through grieving, right? This is really, really hard. These kids go forward and they go backward. And as you start the new school year and you see what other kids are doing and you see what your kid isn't doing and your kid has new challenges and the disease progresses, it's impossible not to have your heart break again. Here's what we do though. Here's what I've observed. We get tough. We're too damn tired. We can't handle the pain, so we indulge in a little denial. Denial is very healthy, right? If you can't handle the pain, a little denial softens the pain. You just got to deal with it later. But I just want to remind every single person here that this disease is hard and that as human beings and parents who love our kids, we are all at some level grieving. And you got to permit that. Moms and dads. Dads too, by the way. We're human as well. And we just do a better job of stuffing our feelings. At least I do. So here's the thing, guys. There's two unintended consequences of this. Unintended consequence number one. It takes a tax on our sanity. Every single one of us needs a therapist. Thing number two, when we go into these doctors' offices or these clinicians' offices or we meet researchers, we try to look like we have our act together, right? Because that's how we've been raised. You're supposed to look like you have I can handle it. I'm tough. BS. And then the trouble we have with that is these doctors come away and they're like, Syngap's not that bad. It's like the other diseases. And then I have to deal with some of these clinicians, and I'm not going to tell you the backstory here, but I've had some really frustrating conversations in the past couple of weeks where one person who should know Syngap better than most people on earth looked at me and said, parents just have to wait a few years for a gene therapy. They shouldn't be doing, this is a separate conversation. And it took all my self-control not to scream at the top of my lungs. We can't wait. We need help now. These kids are suffering, and so are their siblings and their families. So it's a two-part thought. Part one, recognize your chronic grief and give it some space. Acknowledge it, talk to people about it, talk to your doctor about it, get therapy. We all are doing something incredibly hard by loving, raising, and caring for a Syngapian. I just need to say that out loud. Thing two, when you go to your doctor or when you meet a researcher, do not try to look good. Do not try to look like you have it together. Do not tell them you can handle it. We can't handle it. This is ridiculous. And we just have to be honest with our clinicians and the researchers when we meet them about how damn hard this is. And we have to spell it out for them in painful detail. We have to talk about the diapers. We have to talk about the bites. We have to talk about the elopement. We have to talk about the siblings. We have to talk about the grief. And until we beat this into their thick, highly educated skulls, it is not obvious to me that they will understand our sense of urgency or that they will actually internalize how quickly they need to move.